Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamshachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We salute Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the destroyer of the demons, Kamsa and Chanura, the loving darling of Mother Devaki, that Guru of the entire world and the Lord of the universe. We salute him again and again. Om peace, peace, peace. We are back to our reading. Sorry, we are late by 5 minutes because of some technical difficulties. But we are back and we are reading in a very interesting and very appealing area of Bhakti Yoga, where Kapila, the avatar or incarnation, is teaching his mother, Mother Devahuti. So Devahuti is a student, as it were, and mother is Devahuti, and Kapila, his son, is the teacher. He is God incarnate. So here we find what he says, that the people have different goals. The spiritual goal is the highest goal of Bhagavata Dharma. What is called Bhagavata Dharma, the love for God. Love for God, love's sake, not asking for any material gain. So we have attained that, or even someone does all other nice dharmic activities, but it can lead them up to the heavens and different lokas. But even the highest loka, this Brahma loka, that is also imperishable. That's not imperishable, it is perishable. So that was the discussion before, that that Bhagavan said, most men living in the life, just in the householder life, with the three goals, dharma, artha, and kama. Dharma, the duty of life, righteous living, artha and kama, wealth and pleasure. So these rituals and this being full of self-centeredness, a person is insensitive to the Bhagavata Dharma. They are engrossed into these three levels. But now, what is the Bhagavad Dharma? The path of devotion to the Supreme Being. And his faith goes is in the gods and in the forefathers, Pitris, and adores them and performance of the sacrifice dedicated to them. But a man who has a stronger faith is devoted to the gods, and they go to the lunar spheres, Chandraloka, after death, enjoys the delights that those spheres can give to the human soul. And all these heavenly regions are attainable by karma, by doing auspicious work, leading a noble life, etc. Is not permanent because it is perishable. It exhausts. As we gain, you do some work, and you can get the fruit of that work. So these are perishable. But another is, in contrast to those three, dharma, artha, and kama, there is the path of liberation. So they follow the Bhagavata Dharma. Bhagavata Dharma means they are pure enough to digress their mind in God. I don't want this, I don't want this. So I, oh Lord, I love you, we love you. So that type of spirit, when it comes, that's a much higher goal of life. And they do not look upon or utilize their short-term moments, spiritual and secular duties, and as many means to attain some self-centered object like the power, pleasure, heavenly felicities. But devoid of desire for worldly pleasure and attainments, they work with attachment dedicated to the fruits of their action to the Lord. No? So they love God and they offer the fruits of action to God. They are calm and pure minded. They are devoted only to spiritual values. That's the second category of people. Now it is dharma, artha, kama. Major people follow that path. But fourth category is the moksha, liberation. Through the performance of his own swadharma, that is the Indian traditional spirituality, swadharma. Swadharma, every person has his dharma. Wife has his dharma, husband has his dharma, a teacher has his dharma, a preacher has his dharma, a monk has his dharma, a householder has his dharma. So they observe all these dharmas, swadharma, but not for any selfish end, but they're doing all these things and offer it to God. So they attain by that, they attain the purity of the heart. After death, then what happens to them? This type of people who whole life try to love God and all do their karma, but offer the every effect result to the Lord. Oh Lord, give me love, I don't want anything. So because they pray like that and do their all karma, they go to the loka, the plane of Brahma, which is Brahma is the first creator. So Brahma, so long he lives, the soul migrates and goes there and lives in the presence of that Brahma. Very higher plane, how long? They will enjoy the plane of Brahma. But it is not they're asking for any minor tidbit petty things. They're asking love for God. But still they want to enjoy, not to get merged into it. No. So they live in that plane as Brahma lives. Brahma lives a longer period. We humans live 100 years. He also live 100 years. But his one day is our how many millions of years of our human calculation. You don't you say that this dog is 70 years old? Huh? How do you say 70 years old? Dog is only 7 years, no? We call it 70 years. Human calculation and calculation of other animals is different. So human versus gods have difference. God is Pitriloka. Pitriloka, our concept, our 365 day is only one day for them, forefathers, departed forefathers, Pitriloka, those who live. That's why Hindus offer every year some oblation to forefathers called Shraddha ceremony. And then that offering goes to them every day. They ate every day and next day. But we, in our human calculation, 1 year passed. So similarly, Pitris versus gods will be different. Gods are, and Brahma
So
will be
then,
different.
say the Oshuras, their scale will be different than God's scale. Now, at the beginning of Chandi, we see that devas are fighting for Panchavarsha Sahasrani, 5,000 years.
Yeah.
So it is
A
whose
human
scale?
calculation.
No, ours or Oshuras or Devas.
I
because
think
Devas and Oshuras are fighting.
Yeah, Devas and Asuras are fighting. But how
So
many years?
5,000 years
For
who-
human calculation, 5,000 years. But they're for 5 days. It's a relative. See, look at that. Everything is relative in time concept. The small ant lives over how many days? And how we live for how many years? If you say we human live for 100 years, the ant's life will be, they also, if their life is 100 years, in their ant calculation, everyone thinks they have their own perspective, no? So that is a relative thing. And even if you go to the higher plane like that by devotion to God and want to enjoy, then you live in the Brahma's time period. They say after death they go to the path of sun. Others are going to the moon path, another goes to the sun path. More light, bright light, that path. And attain a Satyaloka, and that is called Satyaloka. And Brahma, plane of Brahma is called Satya Loka. As if it is Satya. Satya means almost all the time there. But no, relatively for us, it is so many years we cannot, humanly, we cannot conceive those years. Who has all manifested universe as his form, who is the master of all that is high and low, that Brahma, who is the instrument of the Supreme Lord in his act and worldly manifestation. At the end of, we have read this, Deeparartha, which marks the span of Brahma's life. That means as long Brahma lives, the dissolution of Brahma uh, into the Supreme Being, Brahma also is come from Brahman. Brahma and Brahman are different. Brahma is a God who rules, who creates, and everything comes out of his wish, no? And he lives for 100 years of his lifetime. And when he dies, so everybody who was in that realm gets merged into him. Is it, look at that. To understand this, every day when you go to sleep, your whole concept of the world, all your friends, all your enemies, all your actions, reactions, everything, all get consumed, and merges into what? Yourself. And when you woke up, again it comes up. No? So this is the way people who think of God unselfishly and also pray for devotion, they go highest of that is to go to the Brahma, plane of Brahma. Don't make it Brahma. They call Brahma Loka, but Brahma. Yeah.
So those people then, are they going to be reborn again in the future?
Yeah, when Brahman comes, he'll reborn because he has not thought of the absolute non-dual state.
So will they be back at ground zero, or
That we
start
that
all over again? Or?
yeah, that is the thing we are going through. We should, what is our concept, but what Bhagavatam says. AJ. At the end of the Brahma's lifetime, the dissolution of Brahman into the Supreme Being Brahman takes place. Until that time, these votaries of personal conceptions of God continue to reside in the Satyaloka. They reside in the plane there, as we live in this plane. So there is another, that the divine plane, and devoting themselves to the attainment of knowledge and to the adoration of the Lord. There also they praise God and they absorb in God. There is no other worldly thought in that higher plane. At the end of the creative cycle, Deeparartha, that is called Deeparartha, Brahma, the self created one, in identification with Prakriti, withdraw himself in the formless aspect. See, every day what happened? It is happening for every day for us. Our whole concept is now so vivid. And when you go to sleep, first you dream sometime, and a little bit of that reality, and when you go to deep sleep, boom, everything of your mind is gone. Where does it go? It gets absorbed into the sleep mode we call the susupti state. In that state, everything remains but hidden, unmanifest. And then again you woke up. Your concept, oh, I'll have to go to office. Oh, I'll have to go to New York. Oh, I'll have to do this job. It comes up all. Where was the lost? Where you left, it stayed up to that point. So that means we are born again there in that plane, those who are dissolved there, along with Brahma. All these yogis who have attained to Brahmaloka through self-control, concentration, spiritual practice, however, attaining full enlightenment, also enter into the timeless supreme person. There, all enter into that consciousness, no? Where no manifestation. It is there, but no man. As in your sleep, everything is in you, in your mind, but no manifestation. Therefore, they says therefore, but they don't attain full enlightenment. Full enlightenment is Brahmajnana, the knowledge of Brahman. I am that. When I totally merges, I don't want even this loving is also separation. I love you, I am there, you are there. And the feeling of love is working there. There is a higher state. I and you become one. Aham Brahmasmi. So that is the highest state. So it says, therefore, O mother, the Kapila, the avatar, he is still telling his, though his son, but he is the God incarnate. So he is telling Ma, therefore, what you do, seek shelter with wholehearted love and devotion at the feet of the Supreme Being who is present in the heart of all and about whose greatness you have heard from me. I have told you so many glories. He is his creation, so you give your whole heart and mind and soul. Now, today is the 12th verse. So we have spent a long time. 12th verse starts. As there is a trace of ego sense. Why it is happening? Why you are coming back again? Because there is still the spirit of separation. I want to enjoy. I want to taste the sugar, not be a sugar. Ramakrishna said, I want to taste the sugar and don't want to be sugar itself. Sugar means sugar, none, you are gone. But I will be sugar. I will be tasting sugar. Three things are still. So it is as there is a trace of ego. It is not, it is pure ego, not our ego. Refined. So you go to the higher plane, rejected all other gods and goddesses, their plane, and you are run into the loka. It's called Brahma loka. Satya loka is the same. Or we call Ramakrishna loka. We call Krishna loka. Christ loka. So these are the states of mental attainment where Christ is the Lord God, just manifest from the Absolute. That is the Vedantic concept. But it is not merging into the Atman or Brahman, Atman merging into Brahman, but little trace of separation. From Lord, in spite of works have been done without attachment. Even Brahma, the creator of all, along with the rishis, the great yogis, Kumaras, Siddhas, and other associates of his own creative activity, after becoming one with the Supreme Being, in whom all the gunas and prakritis are in abeyance, will come again into manifestation when time, the power of Lord, gives rise to agitation of the combination of the gunas of prakriti at the beginning of the next kalpa. Suppose you are sleeping 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, and afterwards, whenever you wake up, all these are there, all resurface. It was just consumed, as it were, in your mind. So the cosmic mind, which is the mind of God, and Brahma's mind, everything gets back. And when he wakes up, again, it starts from everyone who are in which mode, which position, they are visible. See, we get up in the morning, we see the same thing. Who is there? This table remains there, these pews are here. We come and see the same thing. Where we slept, we wake up from there. So all these people, sadhakas, rishis, whoever in whatever flights of their absorption with God, they remain at the next kalpa. So also, those jivas who by virtue of their meritorious deeds had attained to the bliss of Brahma's realm, but have not abandoned their ego. That's the ego still remain. I will enjoy. I will be in the plane of bliss by Lord. This dualistic attitude is still there. Their ego, through devotion and enlightenment, receive embodiment again in the world, your question. They get again embodiment again in the world of men at the beginning of the new cycle. according to the karmic tendencies. All their tendency, each one's tendency, they start from that and there itself. According to the karmic tendencies, they had developed in the previous birth, previous kalpa. Thus, even those exalted beings who attain to the highest position by their works will be deprived of those positions and powers when the good deeds of that made them eligible for them are exhausted. It is the people in the pitri, what you call in the lunar path, those who went to Pitriloka, Devaloka, those path, and then this is another path, only Brahmaloka. No? So, but everything is created by Brahma. This Pitriloka, this Loka, this falls under the category of Brahma. There's a channel they have gone up to this part, and they has gone to Brahma. Now, when they are born, they have exhausted their good karma and they come back as a human being again. That's why they're saying. So it's better to realize God here itself. Don't keep it for future. When we keep it for future, there is no certainty where it will end and how again the journey starts.
No guarantee.
No guarantee. That's why now and here, better. If we hear this, these are all scriptures, always makes us alert. Don't delay. This is very important, problem, important aspect of life. They, therefore, they too are obliged to be born again at the beginning of the new cycle. Then there are those now, there are those who are intensely attached to the results of their actions, but are endowed with faith in dictates of the scriptures and to perform all the ritualistic works enjoined in them. They agitated by the Rajas quality, disposition of passion, which is full of desire, devoid of sense control, intensely attached to the felicities of normal life, they worship the Pitris every day. They think God is, the forefathers are the gods only. They don't think of higher entity. They are interested only in the three values of life: dharma, artha, and kama, duty, wealth, and pleasure. They do not care for mukti and bhakti. Mukti is liberation, and bhakti is devotion. And therefore disregard the devotional accounts of life of the Lord and His glories, which are potent enough to eradicate the evil of samsara. If one follows the bhakti, path of devotion, and path of liberation, then what has it has the potential power to eradicate all this ignorance and samsara, birth and death cycle. But they don't crave for that. And it is indeed their accursed fate that makes them neglect the nectarian accounts of the Lord's excellences and feel interested in vulgar stories like worms exulting in filth. That means they think of small things, they cannot think of God, pure love for God and those things. It does not appeal in their mind. They live like worm. Ramakrishna said that to Holy Mother, no? Shall you not do anything? The people of Calcutta are like crawling worms, meaning they're so steeped into ignorance and living like little eating, sleeping, and dying. So you have to show light to them. So that is the Holy Mother. So it says that it is indeed their accursed fate that makes them neglect the nectarian account of Lord's glories and excellences. They could have thought of God and His glories and excellences, but their kopala, their fate is such, they find no interest much. So, in vulgar stories, They live in the vulgar means useless talks and stories of the world. Persons who thus live their lives on earth, doing all prescribed ritualistic work with desire, expecting only this material side only, go after death by the southern path, northern path and southern path, to the world of Arjama, known as Pitrilokas, the world of the mains. So those who live only do the rituals, even they are religious, they are doing rituals and formalities. But what is the intention? Intention makes the difference. Ramakrishna also did the puja, worship. What is the intention? And so many pujaris are doing puja in every Hindu temple you go. So what is the difference? Difference we can understand. They are getting absorbed in thinking of money, money, money. How can they earn more money? How can they more jewelry? How can get this, that? Okay, there's nothing wrong, but that is goes with the short sighted goal. And that will end. And that will I cannot carry. But the same puja is doing. Oh ma, I don't want anything. Give me love, give me devotion. I don't want anything. Mother Ramakrishna said, Oh mother, I throw myself at thy hallowed feet. Hmm? I do not crave for earthly things and this and that. Give me love, give me devotion. May I not be bewildered by your world bewitching Maya. Ramakrishna is teaching us every day. Is he teaching? He is doing that himself. He is never happy to ask for anything else but bhakti and devotion. So worship remaining the same, the attitude is different. Worship, the activity remaining the same. Same, suppose you are doing plumbing work, but our sadhus also created this entire campus earlier days. They did themselves. They are not very experts, but we have no money to afford to do anything. So everyone learned something, do that. And if they have done it proper attitude, they have attained their result. And suppose someone is doing whole life plumbing work is not important. But what is the attitude for whom you are doing? If you think I'm serving God, same work, only for thinking God, your mind is in a different plane and your spiritual growth is different. And someone is thinking it is only for worldly pursuit or for my only survival, only for this. There is nothing wrong, but that gives a different result. So he says he takes to Pitriloka. If one does the prescribed duties, Vedas say, do this Sandha, Vandana, prayer, this, that, or homo, fire, etc., they will reach to the plane of Pitris and the certain areas of developers. When effect of these good works is exhausted by in experiencing their joy there, the custodian deities of these realms expel them from there. Like in your great good five-star hotel, when your period is over, they don't show you any respect. If you have money, add more money. You have no money, then get out. If you don't get out, they will force you to get out. Those deities, that deities, please come, come, come. When you have booked the ticket and paid on your credit card, and money is there, they have got it. Hey, what can I do, sir? This, that. And when it is exhausted and you have no money, they say, hey, get out. Politely one time, second time strongly, third time forcefully. So the gods and goddesses also will say, hey, it is said, ehi, when the soul departs from this body, those who have done righteous activity, these emissaries or the in the heavenly abode, according to your karma, you are entering into this plane. No? When you enter, the emissaries will be there. Come, 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 sir. It is your seat. We are waiting for you. Let us go. This is your room. This is your stay. This is your. And all are welcoming, welcoming, welcoming. But when the karma will be over, then they say, oh, your due is over. Please vacate the room. So,
So, in this kind of example, In the hotel, you have the money and then pay. But if you don't have money, you can pay with credit card. Can we have the virtuous karma in credit? That next life I will do good job and then up right
If
now
they
I
give
will
you credit card, I do not know whether that is available. But you have to pay with tax then. Interest with interest, that's not good because you have to pay. When you pay, you understand how difficult. Better to have your simple money, simple expense, okay. And if it is given 20% interest on your credit card loan, then my God, how to get out of it? Then they will say, give the interest only. You keep your loan. So this is the main thing we can attain to. This is giving an indication. We can attain to the freedom, and we can also go to these things which will be little enjoyment, better life, better. But those are all temporary. It will not stay. Then exhausting means your karma, good karma has given up to this much. Then you do again good karma. Then you will go. But what is the use of going there if I can, with the same amount of work and saying, Oh Lord, give me love, give me devotion, if I can, if my heart can speak, then I will be in better position rather than coming and going. So it is the custodian deities of these realms expel them from there and they come helplessly again to the world of men for a new embodiment, takes another body, and then again starts their journey. Now, 22nd verse, the Bhagavan as the one goal of all aspirants. Now, therefore, O mother, under this, these are the things happen to do, to get the expecting the temporary goals to reach. You work, you will get it, but those are temporary achievements. Therefore, O mother, cultivate devotion which is engendered by contemplating the attributes of the Lord and practice complete resignation to Him. Think of the glories of the Lord and surrender who will praise it. That should be your attitude. Tasmat tang sarva bhavena. Therefore, you, by all possible means, bhajasya paramestinam, you worship the Lord, the Supreme, who is the supreme of all. Janayati asu vairagyam. If you follow that path, it will generate in you ashu quickly. Vairagyam, the detachment, jnanam, knowledge, jad brahma darsana. That will take you to the vision of Brahman. Huh? So it is the addressing mother is addressing all of us. Therefore, make a distinction. This book reading means what we have to learn from the wisdom of this great sage, what he is telling, and God Himself, like Ramakrishna. We call Ramakrishna. Here is the mother, Devahuti is the student, and Kopila Dev is like Ramakrishna. He is telling, Oh mother, then focus your mind in the praise of God and do unselfish work and love God only. So practice complete resignation, vairagam, and jnanam. It will generate real detachment, real knowledge. Just Brahma darshan. What is the knowledge? That will result in knowledge, darshan of Brahma. Bhagavad darshan, we call the darshan, no? We go to temple, we say darshan. Darshan means seeing. Seeing God like this, feeling that experience. Practice of devotion to Vasudeva, Vasudeve Bhagavati, in Bhagavan Vasudeva, Narayana, Bhakti Yoga Prajojita, when in the spirit with bhakti is added, Janayati Asu Vairagam, you need not have to practice of vairagya. This is the point. Bhakti side is this the benefit of it. If we fall in love with God, other things will automatically fall back. You are not to say neti, neti, not this, not this, not this. And my mind wants Rasagulla. And I said, not this, don't eat. And my mind eats. Even if physically I don't eat, mind tax start taking. But if your mind falls in love with God, then mind does not think of what you are giving up. It is no giving up, it is a joy. I am relishing the presence of God. So, Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Jat Brahma Darshanam. No? Say that it will automatically generate that great quality. So, practice of devotion to Vasudeva generates in the spirit of renunciation very soon, and also knowledge and experience of Brahman. So, knowledge will come, Brahman experience will come, Brahma darshan, what Vedanta teaches all the time. That means bhakti path, Thakur said, is a path. It leads unto the same conclusion. So it is in the Bhagavad mentioned, but we don't read it, we don't contemplate on that. 24th verse. When a man ceases to distinguish between which are really neutral in their value, as desirable and undesirable, according to the estimate of his senses, then he experiences that supreme state of the Atman which is unattached. Uh, when a person ceases to distinguish between the objects which are really neutral in their value, when the mind it becomes neutral, whether it is there or not, you don't care. No, if you are not interested, when your say your hunger is not there for the food on the table, food will be there. One person is relishing that food, but if you are not interested, you are neutral, neutral to the world. You live as if things are happening. Okay, what's that to me? If that spirit of detachment spontaneously generates for a lover of God, because he sees only God as primary importance, no? Then he experiences that supreme state of Atman, of the Atman, that who is unattached, who is equal to all, and beyond acceptance and rejection. God, what is called the God's characteristic, we have the human characteristic. Acceptance is there, rejection is there, because we live in duality. When a human becomes godlike, that person, there is no acceptance, no rejection. Everything they see as God. Holy Mother, there is no acceptance, no rejection. Her behavior is same everywhere. No rejection, no acceptance. That is, I am mother. That's all, one idea. No rejection. And acceptance, you say, it is a language we have to say opposite. No. But in mother's eyes, they are all my children. So there is no detachment, attachment, rejection, projection. All this concept goes away. It is only Bhagavan, the pure consciousness, who is verily called Parabrahman, Paramatman, Parameshwara, and Purusha. So many names. It is called Bhagavan, it is called pure consciousness, it is called Parabrahman, which is called Parama Atma, which is called Parameshwara, which is called Purusha, whatever name we call, who has manifested himself as the world of objects, the individual seer in it, and the instruments through which they see. That means God has permeated into everything. For them, the seer, the seeing, and the individual person all are same. 27th verse. The complete detachment and non-affectedness in the midst of this world of manifestation, which such a perception brings, is the one goal that all spiritual discipline have in view. What is the purpose of all spiritual discipline? Your prayer, your fasting, your japa, your going to holy pilgrimage, your holy company. What are the goal of all these things? Now, the complete detachment and non-affectedness in the midst of the worldly manifestation. That is the goal. Understand? What is the purpose of your spiritual practice? What is the practice of your japa? What is the power? What is the need of what is the gain you will get it? It is to be detached from everything. Things will be there, but it will not affect. It's a great thing. That's why in our Bhagavad Gita it says Sukheshu Dukkeshu Anudvignamana Sukheshu Vigata Spriha. When happiness comes, you are not much excited. It has come. Dukkeshu, some suffering comes, you are not depressed or upset and lost as it were into void, no? These two will not touch you. They will come and go, they are external thing. What's that to me? Janaka said, Mithilayang Pradagdhayang Namidajjati Kinchana. Janaka, the king Janaka, when his palace is in fire, he said, what's that to me? If the palace is in fire and becomes all into the dust and evaporates, what's that to me? I am Atman. So he is not affected. He being the king, people will say he's a callous king. Yeah, he's a callous king if he is not aware of it. But he's aware of it. I am Atman. It matters little whether the palace is there or not. Palace will not be there. How many palaces were there in the world and how much are there now? Time, in a big time, everything comes, everything dissolves, everything goes away. 28th verse. It is the one pure consciousness called Brahman, which is beyond the three gunas of Prakriti, that is seen by the outgoing senses as various objects and interpreted due to delusion in a distorted way as sound, touch, and other sense objects. What is happening? It is the one pure consciousness. There is only one pure consciousness, and that is called Brahman, as we say. It is that is seen by the outgoing senses. Our senses are seeing. It is there is one pure consciousness. This whole world is permeated by consciousness. So whole world is permeated by consciousness and blissing. But our senses are saying it is stable, it is good, it is bad, it is heat, it is like, if the senses are not there, how will you feel it is hot and cold, it is right and wrong, it is beautiful, it is not beautiful. If your eyes are not there, the senses are giving interpretation with the help of the mind, that which is here in all Brahman, all God. So Satchidananda, the whole world is permeated by God. But my eyes are giving explanation to the object I am seeing, Brahman, but not as Brahman, but as objects. So it is the one pure consciousness, that is Brahman, is there, which is beyond all the three gunas of the Prakriti, and it is seen by the outgoing senses of as various objects interpreted due to delusion in a distorted way, as we hear as sound, touch, taste, etc. The same pure consciousness has manifested as Mahat, Ahankar, I sense, its threefold expressions, 11 senses, 5 elements, and the self-conscious Jiva, individual. So it is all God only. And everything is manifesting in the Maya, we call Maya. Whatever you are seeing. Swami Vivekananda said in his one of the speeches that you have not seen anything but God throughout your life. I have also not seen anything but God and God alone. It is your misinterpretation of your mind. Your mind, clouded mind, is giving an expression as you see. It is you are seeing wrongly. Your glass is imperfect. It is convex or concave, giving distorted image of the thing what is. You cannot see that. That's why whole spiritual practice is to see the thing in proper way. We are forgotten to see things which is our proper vision should be. Therefore, they form the cosmic shell constituting his capital, his body, which all the worlds are parts of that. The cosmic Maya that creates the sun, moon, stars, five elements, these, that, etc., 24 cosmic principles, ego, mind, intellect. So those technical things, I don't want to go into it now. So this truth is perceived by one who is endowed with Shraddha, Bhakti, an unrelenting practice of spiritual discipline, self-control, detachment, and dispassion. This wisdom will come to whom? Those who are serious, and this is perceived by Shraddha. We should have, that's why Nachiketa, Swami Vivekananda, Shraddha. Shraddha means unflinching faith and trust in the words of the scripture and the Guru. Guru said God is there. Scripture said God is there. Yes, I have realized you can also do that. Believe that. Many people start doubting there itself. What is the proof? Where is God? This I am there, but God is not there. So this is the primary point where all this discussion starts. So this truth is to be perceived. First quality, Shraddha. Second quality is Bhakti. We call Shraddha Bhakti. Shraddha is love, adoration, devotion, Bhakti devotion. Unrelenting practice of spiritual discipline. Unless you practice spiritual discipline, you will never experience truth. When you see the world, we will see this way. That's why you do japa, meditation, early morning get up, take a shower, do. This discipline is necessary. Everyday meditation is necessary. This truth will not reveal to anyone and everyone. So unless they are relentless, the important word is relentless means non-stop, unstoppable practice. Whether you today, I don't find joy in my meditation. What shall I do? No, doggedly do it. Whether you like it or not, like it is not the point. Do doggedly. In our day-to-day life, in the outside world for making a success, how do we do doggedly? If it does not happen, we try to do it another way. On spiritual issue only you say, okay, God will do. Okay, by grace He will come. This is very wrong interpretation. It is a escapist mentality. So, you said to Shraddha, first we have to have faith in the words of the scripture. Ramakrishna said this, okay, I take it granted. First of all, first don't doubt, because you have to doubt doubtful people. But don't doubt who are establishing truthfulness and spirituality. No, Ramakrishna, there is nothing but God in him. You cannot trust him. You can trust an idiot in life situation who are cheaters. You go to believe them, and you don't believe God. God says him Ishwar Darshan Jivaner Uddesya. God vision is the goal of life, and you can attain this in this life. No? Hey, go to solitude, practice this, practice that. Is it false? No, I don't believe. I don't believe in. But you believe other things. So first is Shraddha, faith and trust. First Shraddha, then Bhakti, then practice unrelenting practice of spiritual discipline, self-control, Dhamma, Shama, Dhamma, detachment, Vairagya, dispassion. So all these are necessary. All practice means that. Etad vai Shraddhaya Bhaktya Yoga Bhyasena Nityasaha. If you read the Sanskrit, then its spirit comes up. More dominantly. Etad vai, this goal, Shraddhaya Bhaktya, Yoga Bhyasena Nityasaha. If you read the Sanskrit, then its spirit comes up more dominantly. Etad vai, this goal, Shraddhaya Bhaktya, Yoga Bhyasena Nityasaha. If you read the Sanskrit, then its spirit comes up more dominantly. Shraddhaya by Shraddha, Bhaktya by Bhakti, Yoga Abhyasana by practice of trying to unite with God. All the Guru's instruction we do. Nityasa, not one day, not only Sunday. Sunday religion is there. I go to church on Sunday and my 11 to 12, I am a spiritual person. No, that will not do for God realization. So nityasa all the time. Samahita atma, your mind should be absorbed in God. Nishango, you don't feel identified with other nasty worldly things. Viraktya, the detachment. You not only like it, you hate it. Hate why? Because it is a wrong vision. You are if you cannot hate the temporary things and love temporary things, you cannot love God. Your mind is occupied in this thing. How can you give the same mind here? Mind is mind, no? If you give in God, it will God life. If you give in no other things, it will be world life. So, therefore, be careful. Oh, Venerable Mother, I have expounded the doctrine that leads to the realization of Brahman. By grasping this, the truth about Prakriti and Purusha will be gradually understood. What is known as Bhagavan is the common object sought by those who follow the discipline of knowledge based on scripture, and by those who follow the discipline of wholehearted and unmotivated devotion to me. That's called the Nirguna Bhakti. So, Bhakti is to hear. What is known as Bhagavan is the common object sought by those who follow the discipline of knowledge. Those who following the path of knowledge, they are also bhaktas. We think they are gyanis. We make a separation. But they are bhaktas because they detach from other aspects of life. They love God. They also say, not this, not this, not this, but I am that, I am that, I am that. That means what are you going doing? Detachment, detachment, detachment. Love, love, love. So emphasis is one side, but the goal is the same.
There are questions.
Just as one object varies attributes is seen differently to different senses. Say flower, fragrant to the nose, soft to the touch, beautiful to the eyes. Even so, the one Bhagavan is viewed and interpreted differently by different philosophies and spiritual writings in the light of their particular tradition. A beautiful example given. Just as God is only one, it is, but according to their own philosophy, they look at it saguna, nirguna. Giving the example, you can sense a flower, you can smell it. That is one way of understanding the flower. Another way you touch it, the softness can be felt. That's another way of feeling the same flower. And the color, beautiful, and that to the sight you can. So in this way, the absolute truth, the Brahman, God, can be realized by different interpretation of the mind. Even so, one Bhagavan is viewed and interpreted differently by different philosophies and scriptural writings in the light of their particular tradition. He is one and the same, but each religion or philosophy seeks to interpret him in consonance with their own tradition and concepts. Okay, so we end here. We'll be starting next day on 34. So we are on 33. We ended at 33. And then soon it will be over. Only 2 pages. I could have finished it. That's it. It is the stages of spiritual development will be discussed in the next day. So see that what we come to the conclusion, love for God is will bring all the results. This Saguna Bhakti will take you to the Nirguna Bhakti. The love for God, 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 God becomes so intense, you forget about everything of the world. No? Look at that Mirabai, forgot about the whole world. Go to Sufi says, Rumi and others, thinking of God in whatever name they call Allah, 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 and they get totally merged into that consciousness. Absolutely. The whole world drops from them. So that absorption is the point. Okay. So we end here and then we'll have some one or two questions. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. We'll meet again at 7:30 p.m. on our Shanti Gita class. Okay. This song. Here is a question. During meditation, if a devotee begins to feel spontaneous and free, maybe even starts to laugh, is it at that point that the devotee takes shelter of the Lord and goes to a higher loka? When a devotee takes darshan, does God also see the devotee?
This is to say-
Does God see the devotees? I cannot say. I am not God. But all the scriptures say He is always seeing everything. That's why He is God. He is the eternal witness of everything. That's why it said, you hide and do some bad thing, shutting your door, and no, make it very dark and do something evil one. God observes that also. Because it is eternal consciousness. How can you think that He will be seeing us? So, yes, God sees us, as I understand. God always sees everything. Right. And then during meditation, if a devotee begins to feel spontaneous and free, what does it mean? I am free. In one moment, thinking will not do. It will be an experience, overwhelming experience. Body consciousness will go away and then merge into the divine consciousness in such a depth that there is no identity outside. Then he will be free. And that devotee takes a shelter in the Lord. Shelter of the Lord is not so easy. So if one takes shelter, then there is no fear, nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Everything becomes meaningless who took shelter in God. Another question, if we rest in Atman, we will not care whether we are reincarnated or not. No, if you rest in Atman, why shall you be reincarnated? That question does not come. Because we don't rest in our Atman, we rest in body mind. That's why we come back and again. Because we rest in our desires, I want to fulfill this desire. Oh, it is not yet done. I will the next life. I was trying to fulfill my desire. I worked hard, but last phase my body goes away. Oh my God. Then I'll have to take another body to fulfill that work. But when you don't want anything, why shall you be born? So we will not care whether we are reincarnated. No, it is true. Even if you are reincarnated by God's will for the good of all, like all the Ramakrishna's disciples, all the uh, what do you call the Christ, Buddhas, Ramas, and their associates, they come are reborn for the good of the world. So they can come if you are in Atman, and if you want to come, that's your great blessings. You do that. It is for the good of the world, not for any other reason. And then serving God, we would be happy to come back again. Yes, serving God means you see God everywhere. So whether you are born or not born, what it matters. But if you wish to do Lord's work, you can come. That's enjoyable. Knowing fully well you are serving God. We also work. And how you get frustrated every day. I'm working from morning, I'm cooking from morning, I'm cleaning from morning, I'm tired and no one recognizes me. And everyone trouble.
Not only
But
about mind, body sometimes.
I said, man, that's it.
You want to walk, but body
And the
doesn't-
difference is there much. No, but no, this. But when it is for God, the God is serving God. That spirit will come. That energy will come. But we are struggling to reach that goal. But that work is no more work. It is puja, puja, puja. If you feel Ramakrishna standing there and to hard work, Whatever hard work, what you do. Now, see, in olden days, you don't understand. When we were children, we used to see someone is sick, so they have to hand fan. As you said, hand fan. They're fanning in, hand is almost unable to do. No, that's true. But as soon as you think, oh, I'm serving this, who is my most dear mom or dad or somebody, you get a little bit energy more. The spirit brings. And when I am doing somebody no recognition, no liking, and they hate me and they treat me, then who wants to do that? So that spirit comes. But serving God with God, that attitude directly, that's a different area. And God also gives energy that time. And another question during meditation on the form, is it good to imagine that God is seeing us and smiling? Of course. Then that meditation becomes joyful. Otherwise, you are meditating and the Lord is like a stone image. Will that give joy? No, you will have to feel He's breathing, He's looking, He's smiling, He's alive, He's radiant, His joy burst out from His body as it were. That makes it alive meditation. Otherwise, it will be dull meditation. And no one wants to meditate on some dull thing. Huh? Yeah. Okay.
One more question. Please advise how to not take praise of others personally because we are serving the Lord.
Yeah, praise, it is that the human nature. I did something, if someone says good, then I feel some words. And someone says bad, I get so lost, no? Because we are paying value to the world. Spirituality is not paying value to the world, but value to your inner spirituality or God. If I have done for God what I care for somebody saying good or bad, that should give you courage and strength to face this. You should be bold enough to say, what do I care? If someone tells, oh, wow, what a good job you have done. Thank God. You transfer it to God. Oh Lord, they are praising you. And if someone says, hey, what? You did this thing. I tried my best. If it is so, oh Lord, thank you. Let it go to Him. So why you get involved into it? Because we have our ego. And ego is not purified. If the ego is purified, means ego surrendered to God, then that ego will remain smiling in both the situation. And that is called spirituality.
Oh, the question is removed. Have removed the question.
It is what is meant by resting in God. That's a good idea. Resting in God means, suppose we are tired. When you're tired, we go to the bed, we rest in bed. That time our all thoughts go away. I am a very happy being in that bed. So I am tired of whole day's work or meeting with people or fighting with this and that and that. Now I am resting in God. Then I am most protected, most happy. All this rubbish is not here. So resting in God means surrendering in God, totally offering ourselves at the feet of the Lord. That is the resting of God. Okay, so thank you all, and we'll see you then again at 7:30. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You have any question?